History is full of people who wanted to rule the world. But Temujin, he just wanted to find enough food to survive. Going into a world where your neighbor was more likely to kill you than wave hello. His life started with a literal omen. Legend says he was born clutching a blood clot the size of a knucklebone. In the shamanistic culture of the steppe, that was a sign. This kid is either going to be a savior or a butcher. His early life reads like a survival horror movie. His father, a minor chieftain, was poisoned by a rival tribe. His own clan abandoned him, his mother and his siblings to starve because they didn't want dead weight. Think about that. The man who would eventually command the largest contiguous empire in history spent his teenage years eating roots and rodents, hiding in the mountains, and eventually being captured and enslaved by the very people who should have been his allies. On the steppe, loyalty was based on blood. If you weren't family, you were an enemy. Temujin realized this was why the Mongols were weak. They were too busy killing each other to notice the giant empires in China and Persia looking down on them. So he did something that felt like a heresy at the time. He introduced fictive kingship. He started choosing brothers based on loyalty and talent, not DNA. Imagine a 13th century CEO firing his own cousins and hiring a random guy from the mail's room because that guy was a genius with a bow. That was Temujin. He broke the aristocratic ceiling. When he finally united the tribes in 1206, he took the title Genghis Khan, meaning universal ruler. He didn't just have an army, he had a system. He planned the kidnapping of women, he made livestock theft a capital offense, and he established a written law called the Yasa. He turned 1,000 years of chaos into a singular, focused arrow. If you were a medieval city, the Mongols were your worst nightmare because they didn't play by the rules. Take the Feigned Retreat. This was their masterpiece. The Mongols would attack, look like they were losing, and run away screaming. The enemy, thinking they won, would break their formation to chase them. This chase would last for days. The enemy would get tired, their lines would stretch thin, and then snap. The Mongols would wheel around the fresh horses and turn the hunters into the ground. The massive fortifications of Samarkand. The Mongols were essentially the world's most dangerous scholars. They didn't know how to build a catapult, so they recruited or captured Chinese and Persian engineers. They created a siege corps. If a city didn't surrender, the Mongols would 1. Divert entire rivers to wash the city away, 2. Build a wooden wall around the city so no one could leave, or 3. Use human shields, made of the city's own neighbors to soak up arrows. Sounds barbaric because it was, but from a purely architectural standpoint of war, it was efficient. Genghis didn't want to fight you. He wanted you to see what happened to the last guy who fought him, so you just opened the gate. By the time he was done, the Mongol Empire covered 9 million square miles. To put that into perspective, you could fit the entire Roman Empire into it 4 times. This is where the story gets complicated. We call him a conqueror, but he was also the father of globalization. Because he smashed every border, trade flourished. This was the Pax Mongolica. A merchant could travel from Beijing to Baghdad without seeing a single bandit. He created the first international postal system, the Yan. Riders would sprint between stations, swapping horses like a high-speed relay, carrying news across a continent in days. He gave tax breaks to teachers and doctors. He allowed total religious freedom, a concept that Europe wouldn't figure out for another 500 years. He was a man of total contradictions. A mass murderer who loved literacy. A nomad who created the most sophisticated logistics network the world had ever seen. But perhaps the most staggering conquest wasn't made with a bow or a blade. It was made with biology. In 2003, a massive genetic study found something truly bizarre. Roughly 1 in every 200 men alive today, that's about 16 million people, carry a specific Y chromosome that traces back directly to a single man in the 13th century Mongolia. To put that into perspective, if all of Genghis Khan's living descendants stood hand in hand, they would stretch from Ulaanbaatar to London and back again. Most conquerors leave behind crumbling statues, Genghis Khan left behind a significant portion of the human race. Statistically speaking, if you aren't one of his descendants, you probably know someone who is. Genghis Khan died in his 60s, likely from injuries sustained from falling off a horse. Even in death, he stayed a nomad. He didn't want a tomb or a monument. He wanted the earth to take him back. His soldiers killed everyone who saw the funeral procession. Then they had 1,000 horses trample the ground to hide the grave. To this day, we have no idea where the most powerful man in history is buried. He doesn't need a tombstone. Look at the map of the modern world. Look at our global trade, our interconnected logistics, or even our own DNA. Genghis Khan didn't just conquer a continent. He laid the foundation for the world we live in today. Fear was his tool, but order was his legacy. Thank you guys for watching, and if you want any more videos similar to this one, click on the video right now on the screen, and also leave a comment to tell us what you would like to see in the future, and maybe, just maybe, we might make a video on that. Thanks for watching.